How can praise from a legend like Pele become a curse? For Nii Odartey Lamptey, those faithful words will haunt his entire career. You're about to hear one of the most dramatic rise and fall stories in football history. A tale of shattered dreams, personal tragedies, and immense burdens placed on a 14-year-old Nii Odartey Lamptey. In 1989, Pele anointed a young Ghanaian wizard as his natural successor after being mesmerized by Lamptey's skills at the Under-16 World Cup. Those 10 words, the next Pele, were meant at the highest praise, but they became an albatross around Lamptey's neck. I've spent weeks piecing together this unbelievable true story, tracing Lamptey's path from the streets of Accra to world football heights and back into obscurity. This is a haunting tale about the dangers of outrageous hype and how even a legend's praise can distort a young player's destiny. Nii Odartey Lamptey is a Ghanaian footballer who played for the Black Stars of Ghana in his career, and then he played for Aston Villa, Coventry City, and a host of other plenty clubs. At the point in time, he played with Maradona, and he was known to be one of the best players in his time. Nii Odartey Lamptey was born in Accra, the capital of Ghana, in the year 1974, and he grew up in Accra for a while. After a while of living in Accra, he moved to Kumasi, went to a divorce when he was 3 years old. Lamptey suffered a lot of beatings from his parents, and Lamptey didn't really enjoy his childhood. Lamptey has scars from the beatings he suffered from his father. So because he wasn't really accepted at home, Nii Odartey Lamptey resorted to be on the streets of Kumasi, learning how to play football. It is a part of his life that he will rather live to regret than to be proud of, because while he was supposed to be in school, he would be on the streets of Kumasi playing football, playing with oranges on the streets of Kumasi, trying to just be a footballer. And at the age of 14, he joined the club called Kumasi Cornerstones. Nii Odartey Lamptey was really an exceptional player at Cornerstones. He was one that caught the eye of many. So at age 14, he was selected to be part of the Ghana Under-16 team that were going to play in the first Under-16 World Cup in Scotland. And in the first game, it was Ghana versus Scotland. The game ended 0-0. But there was this young Ghanaian 14-year-old player that caught the eye of Pele. Who is Pele? Pele is a Brazilian legend that won 3 World Cups consecutively, and he was really known for his skills and the number of goals he scored on the pitch for Brazil. He was really iconic. At the time, Pele was 48 years of age, and Pele was a FIFA ambassador. Pele was also the guest of honor for the game between Ghana and Scotland, because it was the first game in that World Cup tournament. Ghana drew the game 0-0. Odartey Lamptey was really amazing in that game. Right after the game, Pele came out to say that his natural successor was Nii Odartey Lamptey, and he really caught fire in English media and in also world football. Pele had said that there was going to be a natural successor who was a Ghanaian. This gave Nii Odartey Lamptey a sense of purpose and a sense of destiny, and we all thought Nii Odartey Lamptey was going to be Ghana's next big thing. The words of Pele also heaped a lot of pressure on this young guy. What was going to become of him? So right after the match, when Pele was asked who he was going to nominate as the man of the match for the game, he nominated Nii Odartey Lamptey. But Nii Odartey Lamptey says that he really didn't know who Pele was, because at age 14 he didn't have access to internet until he went to Belgium, Anderlecht, when he had access to videos about Pele, and he started watching Pele, and he really knew what Pele had said to him, and that was when the words that Pele said to him really started weighing on him. The sad truth also is, Nii Odartey Lamptey never got to meet Pele in his playing career. He never met him. He only saw videos of him, and he heard what Pele had said of him. So 14 months after playing in the Under-16 World Cup in Scotland, Anderlecht had heard of the young boy called Nii Odartey Lamptey. They didn't know how to reach him, and they wanted the young guy to also come to Anderlecht and join them. But you know what? Ghana Football Association had made sure that nobody was going to move from that Under-16 team to abroad without their knowledge. So they confiscated everybody's passports. Anderlecht found a way to try to reach Nii Odartey Lamptey. They reached Nii Odartey Lamptey through Stephen Keshi, who was captain of the Nigerian football team at the time. Nii Odartey Lamptey had to go to Nigeria by bus, and a new passport was forged for Nii Odartey Lamptey for him to be able to move from Nigeria to Brussels. When he got to Anderlecht to prove to the Anderlecht team that this was Nii Odartey Lamptey, Nii Odartey Lamptey was given the ball, and the kind of magic he could do with the ball in the training ground really mesmerized the Anderlecht board and the coaching and the scouting team, and Nii Odartey Lamptey started playing for Anderlecht. So because Nii Odartey Lamptey didn't go to school, he really didn't know much about professional football contracts. It was an intermediary that represented him, and the intermediary, who was an agent, made sure he was going to exploit Nii Odartey Lamptey, taking in a lot of money that belonged to the young lad. And Nii Odartey Lamptey says that he really didn't know much about football. He was a baby, and then he only really enjoyed football, and because of that, he really didn't make much at Anderlecht. But in his personal life, he was happy because just 2 years ago he was sleeping on the streets of Accra, and after 2 years he was playing in the first team for Anderlecht in Belgium. So it was December 1990. Nii Odartey Lamptey made his professional debut. In the first match against Cercle Brugge, he scored a goal. Pele was not wrong. In his first match also in an European qualifier against Roma, he scored a goal too. In all, he made 16 appearances for Anderlecht, and in those 16 appearances, he was really a good player for Anderlecht. In that same year, in the 1990, in April, he made his debut for Ghana as a national team player, scoring also in his first game for the Black Stars of Ghana. In August 1991, he then again played for Ghana under 17, and in that tournament where Del Piero and the likes featured, Ghana won the under 17 tournament, and at this age he was 17 years. And in the competition that was featuring Alessandro Del Piero, it was Lamptey that was named the player of the tournament. And because of all these accolades, media was all over him. He signed a new contract at Anderlecht, and he had a new agent also at Anderlecht, and he started making money every month. The player that was on the street of Accra started making huge sums of money at Anderlecht. After a second season at Anderlecht, he played also for Ghana in the 1992 Olympics. In that tournament, Pep Guardiola also played for Spain 1992 Olympics. Ghana won bronze there, and Lamptey also excelled in that tournament. When Lamptey came back from the Barcelona 1992 Olympics, his favorite coach, Ad de Moss, who was more like a father figure for him, also had been sacked from Anderlecht. And he came back also with a groin injury. At that young age, he started having a lot of injuries, and Anderlecht were complaining because he was playing for Ghana at every level, playing for Ghana at under 17, playing for Ghana at under 20, and playing for Ghana Black Stars, and his injury problems were recurring. So Anderlecht said that it was either he chose Ghana or choose playing for Anderlecht, and the young boy also loved Ghana, so he chose Ghana, and Anderlecht grew frustrated and ended his contract. In 1993, while he was just 17 years, the two parties separated. When De Moss also joined PSV in the year 1993, he signed Nii Odartey Lamptey in 1993 to play on loan for PSV. PSV legend Romario was joining Barcelona. At PSV, Nii Odartey Lamptey excelled too. PSV, Lamptey was scoring regularly here and there, and he became a household name at PSV Eindhoven. But as he passed his 19th birthday, the whole PSV team started underperforming, and there were questions about what Lamptey really offered to the team. In the summer of 1994, he left PSV to join Aston Villa. That was his third club in 3 years. So in just about 5 years, the young Ghanaian boy who was playing on the streets of Accra and in Kumasi was in Birmingham. He has to be very grateful to the club at Anderlecht, because at Brussels he was taught French, and then he was taught also how to speak English. And when he joined Aston Villa, he put on the TV, and oh my God, what he saw on TV really caught his attention. The sports show said that Aston Villa had signed a young guy who was going to be the next Pele. That put a lot of pressure on him, because he had just come in as a player who just played normal football and then move on. This entered also the minds of fans who supported Aston Villa. And when he joined Aston Villa, the first thing he can remember was that there was a Jaguar that came to pick him from the airport. Aston Villa as a club really loved him. And before he joined Aston Villa had finished second in the 1991 to 1992 Premier League season. But right after the season ended, Aston Villa were 10th on the Premier League table. Aston Villa fans were really happy with what they had seen of Lamptey. Lamptey really didn't perform, and Lamptey was also almost often very injured. In September that year, Nii Odartey Lamptey made his debut for Aston Villa. In that same game, he scored also for Aston Villa against Wigan Athletic in a League Cup. And Lamptey's time at Villa was very short, because the club wasn't really going to give their coach Ron Atkinson time, and Lamptey couldn't also perform because while he was playing for Aston Villa, he also had to come to Ghana to play for under 17, under 20, and then the Black Stars of Ghana. And Ron Atkinson wasn't happy. Aston Villa wasn't happy. They were complaining to the Ghana Football Association that they should let him focus on his club football, and the Ghana Football Association wouldn't let him be. So he was in Ghana when Ron Atkinson was sacked. He spoke to Ron Atkinson, and Ron Atkinson also moved him from Aston Villa to Coventry because Ron Atkinson had won a contract at Coventry. So at Coventry, he didn't really also stay there for a long time because he wasn't playing much. He was almost always on duty playing for Ghana, and because of that, he wasn't provided work permit at Coventry City, and he had to leave Coventry too. And the saddest thing too is Ron Atkinson, who was also his coach at Coventry and Aston Villa, was also saving significant sums from his earnings at Coventry. After Coventry, he moved on to Venezia in Italy. It was 1996, and Lamptey was turning 22. He was already married with 2 children. At Venezia too, he couldn't impress. So from Venezia, he made his move from Venezia to Boca Juniors, where he met the great Maradona. So when they asked Nii Odartey Lamptey why he went to Argentina, as to whether he went to Argentina to meet Maradona, he said no. He went there because he wanted to just play football, and luckily for him, he met the great Maradona in a team. Nii Odartey Lamptey played with Maradona at Boca Juniors, and Maradona has also played for Barcelona and Napoli, and had come back to Argentina to play for the Buenos Aires club. He learned a lot of his free kick taking skills from the great Maradona, and he loved Maradona to the point that he named his son after Maradona. He even called his son Diego Pablo Lamptey because of the great Maradona. The saddest thing of all is Lamptey never really got a chance to play for Boca Juniors, and tragically his son Diego Pablo Lamptey also got sick and died in Argentina. So he was 22 years and his son had already died in Argentina, and he came back to Europe hoping to return to Anderlecht, but Anderlecht did not sign him. At 22, he had gone through a lot, and now the next stop was Turkey, and from Turkey he went to Portugal, then Germany, and in 2001 it was China. It was in 2003 it was Dubai. And funny enough, along the line he fell off with the Ghana Football Association. They were not allowing him to have time for his club career. Lamptey's last international appearance for Ghana was in 1996. Somewhat ironically, around the same time, Ghana also had issues with Abedi Pele. So there were a couple more stop-offs. So he went to play in a club in South Africa. Then he came to Ghana to play for Ghana, and in 2006 he retired. That was the career of a guy that was supposed to be the next Pele. Lamptey had not been the next Pele. So he had a really nomadic career, playing about 14 different clubs in 10 years and then in 12 different countries. After his first son, Pablo Lamptey, died, 2 years after, also in Germany, his daughter Lisa also died in abroad. As if that was not enough, because of his skin color, he was also the subject of racism from a lot of clubs that he played in, also in Europe and then in South America. He even discovered in 2013 that his surviving children were also not biologically his. It seems as if life wasn't really fair to this guy called the next Pele. When he's asked what did he achieve in football, he says he thanks God that he was actually even able to play football professionally, because once God has given us life, he's giving us everything. His football academy has brought up a lot of Ghanaians to also play football for Ghana football.